My name is Lyra. On my birthday, I went to a beautiful restaurant in Seattle called Glass Haven. The place sparkled with lights and people were laughing, clinking their glasses, and enjoying their meals. I felt happy and excited. This was supposed to be a special night full of joy. My sister Marlo, who was always a little sneaky, stood up suddenly. Everyone looked at her. She put her hand on her tiny baby bump and said something that made my heart stop. "I'm going to have Cashin's baby," she announced, her voice loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. My husband, Cashin, was standing beside her. He looked calm, even a little sorry, but I knew the truth. He had lied to me. My stomach twisted, and the room felt like it was spinning around me. I wanted to scream, to throw my glass, to cry, to break something. Everyone's eyes were on me, waiting for me to make a scene. But I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there. My fingers traced the stem of my glass, holding it loosely, letting the silence grow heavy like a thick fog. They thought they had won, that they could hurt me in front of everyone. They had no idea I was still in control. I was still holding my story like a pen in my hand, ready to write my own ending. I remembered my childhood in a small, crowded apartment in Seattle. I had always tried to keep everything together, to take care of the little things like paying the electric bill when my parents forgot. My sister Marlo, 2 years younger than me, seemed to float through life. She got all the attention, new dresses, dance lessons, applause from everyone around her. I got lectures about responsibility. "You're so responsible, Lyra," they'd say like it was a compliment. But it always felt like a cage. I loved my sister, even though she shined so brightly I felt invisible sometimes. I thought that was just how families worked, one of us careful and grounded, the other sparkling and free. Then I met Cashin. He seemed different. He was a financial consultant, full of charm and promises. When he looked at me, I felt like I was the only person in the world. We fell in love and got married in a small ceremony by Lake Washington. I poured all my love and energy into building a life with him. I dreamed of having a family. I imagined kids running through a backyard, laughter filling the house, a happy life that belonged only to us. But no matter how much we tried, no baby came. Every negative pregnancy test was a little knife twisting in my heart. I started to feel like I was failing at the one thing I wanted most in life. Cashin would hug me, his voice soft, saying, "It's okay, Lyra. We'll keep trying." I believed him. I trusted him. I loved him. That trust shattered one rainy Tuesday afternoon. I was at home, scrolling through a tablet to find a lasagna recipe. An email notification popped up. It was from Marlo to Cashin. The subject line was short and simple. "Our plan." My stomach flipped, and my hands felt cold. I knew I shouldn't open it, but I couldn't stop myself. The email told the truth. Every secret, every stolen moment. Their affair. And then the last paragraph. It made my knees feel weak. Marlo wrote that she would announce her pregnancy at my birthday dinner to embarrass me in front of everyone. She wanted me to quietly leave Cashin so they could take everything. She wrote, "She'll fold. Lyra always does." I dropped the tablet. It hit the floor and cracked just like my heart felt. I ran to the bathroom, locking the door behind me. I pressed my back against it, as if the door could keep the truth away from me. My breath came fast and shallow, but I didn't cry. I let out a single, silent scream. A scream so loud inside my chest that it shook me, even if no one could hear it. Then something changed. I didn't feel broken anymore. The pain didn't destroy me, it made me sharp. I picked up my phone and called Kaya, my best friend since college. My voice was steady. "It happened. They're trying to destroy me." Kaya sounded worried. "Lyra, where are you?" "At home," I said. "But I'm not giving up. I'm going to fight back. I'm not going down without a fight." The weeks after that email passed in a blur. I was angry, but I was also focused. I felt like I was walking on a tightrope between falling apart and standing tall. Kaya came to my apartment that night. Her dark curly hair bounced as she walked in. "We need a plan," she said, pacing back and forth. Her brain was already working like a clever paralegal. I told her everything, Marlo's betrayal, Cashin's lies, their plan to humiliate me. Then a memory from a year ago came back. Cashin and I had been trying for a baby for a long time. Every failed attempt hurts. I begged him to get tested, to make sure the problem wasn't medical. He resisted for months. Eventually he agreed. He went to the Cascade Clinic alone. I remembered, came home with red eyes, and held me while I sobbed. He whispered, "It's not me, Lyra. The doctor says I'm fine. It must be you." For a year, I believed I was the broken one. My body had failed. Every test, every doctor's visit, every negative result, I blamed myself. Meanwhile, Cashin acted like the perfect husband, holding my hand and promising we would get through it. That lie was cruel. I couldn't unsee it now. I told Kaya, I need the truth from the Cascade Clinic. I need Cashin's test results from a year ago. Kaya frowned. Lyra, that's protected by privacy laws. It's not easy to get. I'm his wife. There has to be a way, I said, my hands trembling with determination. Kaya nodded. Give me a few days. I'll find a way. 2 weeks later, after relentless work, calls, and clever maneuvers, an email arrived with a PDF attachment. My heart raced. I opened it slowly. The report said, Cashin had 0 sperm motility. He was sterile. He could never have children. The words hit me like a punch. Cashin hadn't just cheated. He had let me suffer for a year, believing it was my fault that we couldn't have children. My hands shook, but not with sadness, with fury. If he could lie about this, what else had he hidden? I remembered his story about the clinic visits and specialist consultations. I pulled up our bank statements from that month. There were no payments to Cascade Clinic. Instead, there was a $20,000 cash withdrawal that didn't make sense. This wasn't just about an affair. It was bigger and darker. The next morning, I went to see Mr. Gideon, a private investigator. His office was cluttered, but he seemed calm and sharp, like a librarian. I don't care about the affair, I told him, sliding a folder across his desk. I need you to follow the money. Find out where the $20,000 went, and anything else that doesn't add up. He nodded. I'll get you answers, Miss Lyra. Walking out into the Seattle rain, my coat soaked, I felt a new spark inside me. Not just anger, but power. Cashin and Marlowe thought they could break me, but they underestimated me. 2 weeks later, Mr. Gideon sent me a report. I sat at my kitchen table, the gray Seattle skyline outside my window, and opened the file. The numbers told a story worse than I had imagined. Cashin had set up a secret account, sending money to Marlowe for rent, her car, and fancy designer bags she liked to show off. But the worst part? $200,000 had been taken from Cashin's corporate account, the money embezzled from his company, and sent to a house in Tacoma under my mother's name. My own mother, who had always chosen Marlowe over me, was part of their plan. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a conspiracy, a calculated plan to take everything from me. My heart raced, but this time with resolve. I called Kaya. My voice shook, but it was strong. They're not just taking my marriage. They're trying to steal my life. Kaya was at my apartment within the hour. She opened her laptop, ready to help me piece everything together. We spent hours connecting the dots, going through bank statements, emails, and the trail of lies Cashin and Marlowe had left. Every detail made me stronger. I was no longer the fragile sister who had always been overlooked. I had been holding everything together my whole life, and now I was going to take back what was mine. For the next several days, I planned carefully. I contacted lawyers, gathered evidence, and made sure every move Cashin and Marlowe had made was documented. I learned how to turn their own lies against them. The betrayal that had once made me feel weak now became my weapon. I would not let them humiliate me or take my life from me. I would fight, and I would win. I thought back to my childhood again. Growing up in that cramped apartment, I had learned to stay strong, to solve problems, to hold everything together. That skill, which I had thought was just ordinary, became my superpower. I realized I was not powerless. I was powerful. I could take control. I could write my own story. I could take back what was rightfully mine. Every day after that, I felt a little stronger. Cashin and Marlowe had underestimated me. They had thought I would fall apart, but they were wrong. I was ready to face them, to confront them, and to take back my life. The pain had sharpened me like a knife. I was no longer just Lyra, the